If you get put in a space of anger, you got to ask yourself, why am I angry? What past experience is triggering that? Okay? Full release means you have no need for anger. But you have to go through the process of understanding, growth, and healing before you get there. And part of that is releasing the anger, obviously. Okay, force of attraction. Again, this is a force of attraction. What you put out comes back towards you. So what you think comes back towards you. What every thought, every action will come back to you. No blame, right? We already talked about that. Must learn to take responsibility for your own manifestations, experience through greater awareness and understanding, and that requires wisdom. And again, we're talking about the 50-50 rule, right? I mean, it's not somebody else's fault that you're here, just no more than it's somebody else's fault that you had a bad experience. You manifested it. Okay, by design and manifestation, we attract those experiences which can bring us to greater levels of healing and balance, like we talked about earlier. Every experience is to help us grow. It's the meaning of life. Every single experience we have is to help us grow to a higher level and to heal to higher levels. Include all levels of relationships, risk-taking, deprivation, and challenges. Well, I put myself through deprivation because I didn't see how I could harmonize my spiritual beliefs with the physical world and the real world that we live in. And so I didn't come back into the workforce like I was shown I was supposed to. I resisted it, and I put myself into financial deprivation. Well, I learned from that. That was good. I mean, had I not done it, I wouldn't have understood. So yeah, we sometimes don't necessarily take the right actions or the best actions every single time, and we have to go through processes and steps. So you make a few mistakes, then you grow, and maybe make a few more mistakes, then you grow again. And so it's a process. And again, if you didn't do this on your own, and I just give this information to you, it means nothing unless you practice it. You can look at this all day and say, oh yeah, I get that. That makes perfect sense. But until you incorporate it into your life, it's not going to become how you manifest. So I had to go through the same thing, where I made the wrong choices, and I had to learn how I did that and modified it. Okay, our present reality is accumulation of our past thoughts and experiences. We know that. Reprogramming your experiences is achieved by healing your thoughts and consciousness. We know that. Mistakes, opportunities to maximize your growth through awareness and understanding. Well, too many people beat themselves up when they make a mistake. We know that. I mean, and you beat yourself up, that's what? Lack of self-love. You don't love yourself, you're going to beat yourself up. If you understand it and grow from it, then you have no need to beat yourself up. You might not necessarily like the experience that you went through, and it may take a while before you manifest something significantly better, but the point is to recognize it and grow from it. The greatest growth often results from greatest trauma and pain. Paradox. Well, I think most people might have seen that already in their life. From your greatest positions of pain and trauma, you will ultimately achieve your greatest levels of growth, and that's a paradox. And that doesn't mean you have to seek out pain. Don't get me wrong. I don't want anybody going out trying to hurt themselves so they can grow to a higher level. But you will find, and I have found, and most people that I've worked with have found that that's the way it works. So, and this often comes from the awakening process, the awakening experience. What awakened you to spirit, what awakened you to choosing a different path, what awakened you, which eventually brought you here to this workshop. I know mine was triggered from a position of greatest suffering in my life. That said, this path no longer works for me. I didn't even know what that path was. But I said, whatever I'm doing does not work. Whatever I was taught, there's got to be a better way. And ultimately, I became a seeker at that moment. And I found that midlife crisis is nothing more than this choice. Okay, midlife crisis is usually when somebody's life doesn't make sense anymore. Okay, so they're given a huge choice, and you've heard stories about some people going one way and some people going the other way. Well, yeah, it can, it's all dependent on what you know at the time. Puzzle of life and learning how to heal over past experiences, childhood trauma, exercise. Okay, I was a big puzzle maker when I was a kid. 10,000 piece puzzles, and I just do them by myself, type of thing. But so it gave me a perspective on personal growth. That made sense. That is when you do a puzzle, any puzzle, you combine all the pieces that look alike, you put them together, and you've got some part of the puzzle. Okay? And it doesn't make sense, maybe you don't know where it goes yet on the table, and but you can do this, and that's where you build puzzles. You do all the things, and so you got all these pieces around that are parts of the whole puzzle. All right. That's what you're doing with your life. Okay? You're going to take something that you can analyze and reflect on and understand, and you're going to heal that. Okay? And then you're going to put that out there in the puzzle. Eventually, you have the ability to fill in the entire puzzle and see your whole purpose in life. Okay? Again, another process. But it takes conscious effort. It takes being aware and understanding to do that. But when you put that puzzle together, you will feel much more complete than you ever have. Have a sense of why everything happened to you in your life, the importance of it, the significance of it, why you're exactly where you are because of it. Okay, very empowering. Let's go on to other things you can experience. If you lie, we already talked about this a little bit, it reveals your fears. Okay, if you feel you have to lie, you're protecting yourself. And why are you protecting yourself? Because you feel vulnerable. And you feel vulnerable because you haven't gained enough wisdom and understanding in who you are. If you have this down, you will not feel vulnerable. You have no need to lie. Okay, you have to, that means that you're manifesting positive. You're not afraid of not having money. You're not afraid of anything or virtually anything because you have confidence that what you're doing works. When you lie about some things like self-love means that you don't have acceptance. Again, you might lie to make money. You could say insurance scams, returning something that you used and, you know, just decide to return it to get the money back because you're not ever going to use it again, but you did purchase it and use it, so that is a form of deception. Not going to move you positive. So other things to learn from your experiences is synchronicity. Okay, synchronicity, if anybody's not so familiar with that term, it means kind of like when you're doing one thing and you're moving along a path and something else happens that supports the path. Okay, that would be what I would call synchronicity. So you have a desire to do something. And all of a sudden something comes along and shows you, boy, you know, that is exactly what I wanted to do. Now, the universe in its infinite wisdom will try to trick you. I've been there. Okay? You still have to determine whether this desire has the right polarity. Okay, I didn't know that when I started. So I said, oh, I have a desire to start a business, and all of a sudden something over here opens a door. I went down the path and it didn't work. It failed. I'm like, well, I didn't get it. There was synchronicity there. You still have to use wisdom every step of the way. You still have to look at what you're doing and see if it's positive, and if you're intense or positive, and if you're not operating out of fear or anxiety. You still have to look at all those issues. Just because there's synchronicity doesn't mean it's definitely meant that you should do that. Now, I got trapped on that several times. I had to learn that one the hard way. So take that one seriously.